Hello, everyone. As you can see, I'm not joined by anyone today. It's just me. I'm writing solo. Unnie is no more. This is all that's left of her. She's just a foot now. Or I guess I should say she's just a footnote. But not. She just had something she needed to take care of, so she's not here. So I will be filling in. Um, this is a lot for me. I love to talk, but I'm also very lazy. I'm like if a cat was a person. Um, so yeah, I guess I'm just gonna have to do the grunt work. Is that the saying? The most the I don't know the bulk of the work. Okay, so let's talk about no love, no gain. Wait, no gain, no love. My bad. I'm not gonna use any character names because that was more so Benny's thing. I don't remember people's names. Um, yeah. So overall, I didn't love this series. I loved the main characters, like the main couple, but I could give a fuck about everybody else. Like I could do without all of them except for the mom. Like I don't want her to catch a stray for me. I liked her a lot. Her whole arc was very sad. Like that seems so terrifying to lose your memories of your loved ones. But then also she kind of had trauma in her past that she wanted to forget. So I guess it wasn't that bad in the end for her. Um so we left off on episode 6. So in episode 7, our main character wakes up in the bed with her current fake husband and her ex boyfriend. And yeah, I can't imagine being in that scenario. That sounds wild. I'd probably give myself a pat on the back, ooh, you did that, girl. Um, the way we unveil that too is um, convenience clerk guy. He has he sees her, and then they're getting up, and he sees another arm on him, and then they pull back the cover, and it's what the fuck, whatever his face is. I don't remember his character name, but yeah, ex boyfriend guy. And I think they're panicking because they're oh, how are we gonna explain this to everybody? And the HR woman comes and knocks on the door, who's ex boyfriend's current wife, and she actually knew that they were there together because their drunk asses all went into the same room. But she just figured oh, let him sleep it off, and also she had no choice because the door was locked. um oh, and then she kind of puts two and two together because our main character, she's saying things he's oh, where's my watch, and she's did you check your shoe? And then he's what did he ask about? He asked about something. He asked, oh, where his wallet was, and she's check under the mattress. So then she's how would you know these things? And then he's oh, we're just really good coworkers, which I don't know any of my coworkers like that. My bad, producer. By the she's calling BS on that comment I made. Anyways, shout out to the producer actually, because she's really eating with her lighting. She's very talented at this. Hire her for your next project. Um, so where was I? Oh, and then also HR woman is out here trying to make money moves for her husband. She's out here puppeteering him, and we can tell that he doesn't like that. But I'm you knew who she was. Why are you mad at her for doing her thing? Um, Also, what is his name? I don't remember his name, but CEO guy, son, he figures out that Lucifer, as he calls him, is his brother, and his mom is not feeling that. His mom is you need to make him disappear. I made that bitch disappear to Canada. Um, and yeah, he actually goes through with it. He's kind of a terrible person. Um, and yeah, some things are unveiled. They unveil their feelings, the CEO and the sister, the one that's a writer. And yeah, I feel they were really trying to shove that second couple down our throat. I know Benny said that they're getting a spinoff. I don't think I really have much interest in watching that spinoff. Like I said, I don't really care about anybody but the main couple. They're the only ones that I enjoyed seeing on the TV. So I would kind of just check out mentally whenever anybody else would be on the screen. Um, Even though they did give her a lot of conflict, the sister, with her dad having murdered our main character's dad, and that's what the mom wanted to forget. And then also the main character is pissed off because the convenience store worker, her fake husband, he was her mom's last what's the word, Foster child. Thank you, producer. um, which I don't really understand, but I guess I think for her it was probably the trauma of like having lost her dad, and like she told her mom probably to never do that again. I'm assuming. But then like I think she finally comes around and she's like, well, I'm glad my mom wasn't like alone. The mom's death was like really sad to me. Like that made me cry. Um, and then also like it's unveiled that the other sister is pregnant. She doesn't know who the dad is. Um, I saw this meme that said bisexual men are not confused. When you don't know who your baby daddy is, that's confused, and that's that's very much that sister. um, so yeah, and then the sisters, what do we call him? Boyfriend, longtime boyfriend. I don't even think because I was gonna say I think he's her fiance at the end, but I don't think they ever did they agree to getting married. I think it was more like a promise thing, right? Like they're just committed to each other. But yeah, also when like when they run into each other at the sound booth and like he has like the big belly, I was like, damn, he's been drinking, and like yeah, come to find out he was wearing a fake belly to experience her like her growing belly, and like that was so messy because why did he like why did he have to like go off on her in front of her colleagues, and then her colleagues were just like, this is TMI, and they hella left, which like same, it was TMI. I was never interested in her storyline. But I mean, that's true because like the sorry, I don't know if you guys could hear it, but my producer said that like we never get to see the other sister's like other boyfriend. I would have liked to see him because like for me, the producer guy, he's not much to look at. He doesn't seem to have that much of a personality. He seems kind of like okay, like he makes little fun remarks, but like what else is he bringing to the table? Like, I feel like her other like side piece was probably really hot because like he earned like a spot on her calendar. She was always looking forward to those weeks. Um, and then what else did I want? Oh yeah, so then she ends up deciding to keep the baby. There's this whole storyline like, is she gonna keep it? Is she not gonna keep it? Over here on this couch, we're very pro-choice. People's autonomy and like decisions of their body. That's their decisions, which I don't know. So I'm glad that they kind of touched on that. Power to the people, girl power, power to the women. Um, but yeah, she ends up deciding to keep it, and then she's like telling her sister, she's like, "Mom lives on through you. Um, so like this baby is gonna like keep me alive forever." Which I was like, that's a beautiful sentiment. Like that's really cute. Um, what else happened? Oh yeah, but basically, like I was saying, like it's unveiled that the CEO and the sister that's a writer have feelings for each other. And I remember that the main character went to hit the CEO, and she ended up hitting her fake or her fake husband. Um, and then she almost hit her sister, which like valid. Like your sister is a dumb. Well, in my opinion, she's a dumbass. I shouldn't say a generalization that she is a dumbass. In my opinion, she's a dumbass because like this man, like he yeah, I was gonna say he has no backbone. Like he just did whatever his mother told him to do. He was very much being a villain. Like he was like, yeah, he pretended to volunteer. He wrote those terrible comments, and he couldn't even be bothered to do all the terrible comments himself. He like passed that on to his like secretary. Um, and then also like he was trying to cut out like the main woman. Like he brushed her off. Like he let that other guy, her ex boyfriend, take credit for all of her work. He tried to get his brother to leave the country. Like he was just a terrible person. So I don't know what she saw in him, and I don't know how they like expected us to be like for that relationship when we have the context that we do. Like that's the stupidest, in my opinion, way to bring two people together is like him being a hater to them being lovers. Um, I mean, I think that's all I really wanted to touch on. Like, it ends up very happy. Like, the main couple end up together. Like, they are very for real now. They already have their wedding rings. They don't have to spend money on another wedding. They already did the wedding thing. Overall, I would give it like a 7.5 out of 10. If it was focused more so just on the main couple, it would have been higher rating for me. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much that one. Oh, that's true. And I bet she was beautiful. Oh, that's a good call out, actually. Before I move on, like my producer saying about the sister. So like Jiuk's sister. Ooh, we got some names in the building. So like She's saying that Jiyook's mom is never shown, and then also like when our main character, when she missed like no losses, when she like cuts him out and like tries to like set him free, she sees him with that woman and like she assumes that's his girlfriend. There's like a Selena Quintanilla song which is El Chico del Apartamento 512, which is very much that vibe. That's the vibe I got too, like where you assume that that's their girlfriend but really that's their sister. Yeah, that's what pretty much happened. The sister is gorgeous, but like that's so crazy that we saw the sister but we didn't even see the mom. That's what my producer was saying. But yeah, there was like a lot that's like maybe left out. I don't know if maybe they're trying to like move for like a spin-off that covers that or something, or like a second season. Um, I won't be watching. That's all I gotta say. Okay, so then now we're moving on to No Judge, No Hell. That's what I like to call it. The Judge from Hell. So let me try to remember because I watched these last night, but I was so tired. Um, Oh, okay. So towards the beginning of the episode, Bitna, she sees the killer, but we as the audience don't see who the killer was. And for me, I was like, oh shit, is it gonna be the detective? Like, is it gonna be Dayon? And also, like, we see the funeral of like the detective, the one who raised him from a child. He was very over the top with that. Like, he was really like the actor himself was probably gunning for like an Academy Award nomination, because that was wild. And also, like, did nobody think to check the like the weather for the funeral? Like, why did we have the funeral in the rain like that? That just, I don't know, that bugged me. Um, and then our main character's assistant, who is also a demon, Mondo, he's been very dedicated in like his church life. Like, he is doing really well in that aspect. Um, and then what was I? Oh, so we get to see her cry a lot more. At one point, she like pretends that it's like part of the rain, and like she's also like trying to check if she's crying. Um, Whatever makeup she uses is amazing because never in the crying does the makeup ever budge. So shout out to her makeup brand. Um, Oh, and then we also are dealing with like the fallout for the other detectives of the loss of the main detective. So the junior detective, like the youngest one, like they flash back to like when he was there at the crime scene where there was like a body, and like um the older detective like put toothpaste, I'm assuming it's toothpaste, under his nose so he could handle like the smell. And like he kind of does that. He recreates that, and like that reminds him of the woman. For the other guy, the other detective, like he's reminded of when she gave him like a little pastry. Um, and then like they end up fighting, like Dayon and like the detective that was last with the main detective. And he calls out some very valid things. He's like, "Why did you leave her? Like, why did you go get food? Like, you could have just waited." And then also Dayon has been like defending Bitna, and we get introduced to like a new police chief or whatever the other person, like the mom, like whatever her role was. And then there's also like a new detective as well. Um, he seems really sketchy. He creeps me out. Like he like smiles a ton. Like he's super nice. He was also really handsy with like the younger detective. Like I thought he was gonna be handsy with everybody. He was just handsy with that one detective. So maybe that demon is like looking for a lover. I don't know. That's just me speculating and trying to add some BL to the mix. um, let's see. Oh, also I found it really funny when, is her name Arang, the other demon? Like she's like the Benatu or whatever, the one that's supposed to investigate. She's basically secret police. Um, I found it funny when she was asking Mondo like, what is their relationship to each other? Like, is it romantic? And he's like, it's not so much rom com, it's melodramatic. And yeah, that's very much my vibe. I like melodrama. I don't really like well, I like rom com movies, but not rom com series. Like, and K dramas are just so long. Like they're an hour long. Like my attention span is like brain rot, and I'm very much a child of TikTok. So it's so hard for me to get through like the hour long episodes, no matter how like engaging I find the content. But like Judge from Hell is a much easier watch for me than No Gain No Love was. Um, Also like we're unveiled the angel who is like the older woman. Like we kind of saw them like in the mirror, but then now we actually see them like as a whole, like an entity. And like at first I was like, is that a man? Is that a woman? Turns out it's a man. It's an angel named Gabriel. Um, and when I think of the angel Gabriel, I thought like he'd be like fierce, he'd be muscular. We got a twink. It's like a twink in a blonde wig with some wings. um, so yeah, that was kind of disappointing. And also the angel is like so mischievous. Like it's crazy to me that like we got a demon who's out here like crying for people, trying to help people. She's trying to figure out like who Killer J is. Like she's going back to the victims, making sure that everyone is like has not forgiven the person, which is crazy. Because like if the person's killed multiple people, like what does it matter if one person has forgiven them? Like there's still all those other people that haven't forgiven them. Like that should not be a thing. So the rules of this universe are very interesting to me. But we also get to see like flashbacks of like all the ways that the angel has been helping and pulling strings in the background. The angel says that they only help the good and the poor. At one point, the angel helps Mondo, which I don't know if he's insinuating that he's either good or poor. I'm assuming good, because that's shade. Like I call shade if he's calling him poor. He is poor, but like he don't gotta do him like that. Um, he is because like she be spending probably her income on like her extravagant lifestyle and probably Mondo's like income too. Because Mondo don't have nothing. Like, what does he have to show? Like, he has like a tiny little room. He's giving like Harry Potter, Child Under the Stairs. Um, oh, and then also the angel says that committing murder in your mind is the same thing as like committing murder. That's crazy because like when I think of all the people that I've wanted, I don't think I would kill them. That's a lot of work, but I've wanted to see like off the planet. Like I'd be in hell already. Like um oh anybody anybody that I think wrongs me. Like if somebody cuts me off in traffic, I'm like I do. I'm so sensitive. I take everything up the butt. That's not a gay joke. That's just like that's my personality. um what was I gonna say? Oh, and then we also get to see the church lady's home for the first time, and there's like this creepy room that she doesn't want the like young man to go into. I thought she was hiding like a person in there. I thought she was crazy as fuck, and like she is doing some evil, nefarious things. Cause like it really do be the people that like come off as like do-gooders sometimes that are like the worst. Like you sometimes see like those pastors. Um, yeah, there's a lot to unpack there, but we kind of get to figure out that it's actually because she had a son, so that's why she's kind of bonding with like the woman's son, like her tenants. He was actually a victim of Killer J, and like the ex boyfriend of Bitna, he's trying to like buy the complex that she owns, and like I think that the daughter seems like she has like a well enough relationship. Like she's like, I want my mom to like keep her place, like stop bugging me, like that's her business. And then he's like, I'll give you all this money. Like she's pregnant. Like I'll take care of your child. Like I'll make sure that they're set for life. She's like, no. Basically, the assemblyman's son he threatens the church lady's life, and he's like, yeah, like it's a really dangerous neighborhood. There's been a murder. Like I'd hate to see something happen to her. So then she kind of goes and she tries to plead for her mother to go ahead and like sell the building, and then that's when she kind of like unpacks her trauma and she's like, all you care about is like staying here. You're trying to like recapture a ghost. She's like, no, I just think that the killer, like, well, she tells us to Bidna, like, I think the killer's gonna come back, and I really need that closure. I need to ask him something. So I don't think she's really ever forgiven him. I don't think she'll be able to forgive him unless she can ask the killer like the question that's burning on her mind. Um, what else did I have? This is funny. At one point, Bidna like detective gets beat up by like the new detective, so Dayon, and he has like a cut on his lip, and she tries to put ointment on it, but she puts lip balm, and then she's like, "Is this burning you?" And then he's like, "Yeah, because it's not ointment, it's lip balm." And then she's like, "What are you? Are you a perv? Like, why did you let me hurt you?" and he seems like kind of a freak. Like he's into it. Oh, also the new detective, he looks so much better when he switches to like his evil self. When he's like a good guy, he doesn't really do it for me. I don't know what that says about me. That's something to unpack there too. Um, and then over to the speaking of like demons, the one who brought that new detective on because it's unveiled that he is a demon. It was our spider demon, which our spider demon is so hot. Like he needs more camera time. Um, like what can he do with those limbs? That's what I want to know. Um, oh, and then also the assemblyman's second son, so the younger son, he gets in trouble with the law because he's driving his vehicle under the influence. He almost hits some kids, but luckily the angel saves those kids. Um, but yeah, like her sentencing is that he gets 2 years in prison, 4 years in what is it? In probation. And I don't really understand the judicial system. Like Benny's gonna have to explain that to me like off camera because like if he was sentenced to prison, how was he out of the club? Because that's where Bitna goes to like confront him. And the angel actually goes and she like poses as or he I don't know what pronouns they they go to the club and they pose as like a hot guy um because Mondo has like betrayed um Dayon because Arang wants to see him like gone. She actually is kind of in Bitna's corner, like she aspires to be like Bitna. So she's the one that tells Bale, the spider demon, she's like, hey, the judge seems like she's getting like conflicting feelings. It's caused by Dayon. So then he calls that new detective, the demon that is possessing the new detective, and then he's like, "Yeah, like deal with this, like take out Dayon." And then he's like, "If you have to, take out Bitna," which Arang doesn't really have that context, because apparently like this new demon and Bitna have like a history going back like 400 years. Um, and then also Bitna gets suspended for giving such a well. I think it's because the articles are like against her. There's like one person who's like not really feeling her and like they're going after her. She gets suspended for 1 month. My question is it 1 month with pay or without pay? I feel like in Asia you probably would get it with pay because like they really take care of like their workforce there. Um, and then also the coworkers of Bitna, like the two judges that like secretly hate her, her frenemies, they're like very happy that she's gonna be gone. And like one of them, he like is the older guy. He's like, yeah. Oh, she asked them if they're a couple because they're always together. And then the woman with the glasses, she takes offense to that. And she's like, what the fuck? Like, no, I would never. That would never be my pairing. And then he's like, what do you mean? I look like DiCaprio? That's crazy. Like, don't do Leonardo DiCaprio like that. Like, and then his coworker is like, you know what? DiCaprio is gonna sue you. And then he's like, for what? For defamation? I'm like, yeah, for slander. You out here throwing his name in the streets, just saying that you look like him. The producers comment, men have nothing but the audacity. Period. um, hella crazy. And then also, it's funny to me that everything she knows about being a human comes from the TV. So she makes all these comments, like she's like, "Yeah, I saw that on TV," or "I saw this on TV." Like this is how I'm learning to be a human. Same, but like not TV, TikTok. I'm learning how to be a human through TikTok and through IG. Um. Oh, what else? Sorry, my brain is like everywhere today. I need to like. No, I'm not gonna say that. I'll get canceled. Um, and then we like in the flashback, I was telling you that like we get to see the context of like what the landlady went through and her son being killed. That woman deserves an Oscar, an Emmy, a Grammy. She deserves to be an EGOT because the performance she gave at the funeral of her son was so good. Like it was very heart wrenching. It was very over the top, but like that's what you would expect from somebody who just lost their young child. Like this woman tells her like, "Oh, God must have been out of angels. That's why he called your son to be with him." She's like, "Well, then why doesn't your son go with God?" The woman is so offended. But like, why would you say something crazy like that to somebody who just lost their child? I know she meant it with good intentions, but like, you kind of need to think before you talk. Um, Sometimes you just gotta say like, "I'm so sorry for your loss. I can't imagine what you're going through." Because no, you can't imagine unless you're actually going through what that person is experiencing. Um, and then also it's unveiled that just Dita knew that Mondo was going to church, and she's actually very proud of him. She's like, that's so evil of you to like to be treacherous and betray me like that and like hide things from me. Like you're doing such good work as a demon, and like that's just so funny to me that like him excelling as a demon is him going to church. Um, and then at the end we get to see Justita and the new demon like fight it out. Justita's a boss. She throws him the fuck like out the way. She throws him through walls. She actually ends up like trying to kill him with his own weapon, which his weapon is cool as fuck. It looks like a trident or something. Like it's huge. Um, and then at the end of the episode, it's revealed that the guy is still alive, like the demon, which makes sense because like he wasn't really giving like dead. He was just giving like knocked out or incapacitated. And then at the end, it's also like a cliffhanger. So he takes his weapon and he makes it seem like he's stabbed someone, and like Dayon jumps in front of like the weapon to try to save Bitna. And our assumption is that like he stabbed Dayon. And then what I'm assuming is that since like Dayon has not committed enough evil and is still like technically an innocent, is that he'll probably just like come back to life like he did with like when Bitna tried to kill him. Yeah, that's pretty much the summary of those two episodes for Judge from Hell. Um, yeah, I'm kind of tired of talking. I could really go for a nap now. So, huh? Oh, yes. Thank you, producer. My rating for these two episodes, I would give it a, I would say like between an 8 and an 8.5. So maybe like 8.25. I really like it. Um, yeah, if they would have made like the angel Michael or Gabriel, if they would have made him look less twinky, I would have been like more for it. I would give it a higher rating. That's not my idea of an angel, but I guess we're all different. So producer had a call out. She's asking what's going on with Pauli this week because there's always something going on with me. And actually, I really don't have anything. But yesterday, I kind of did think I was gonna have something because Benny made me go and take some packages from her front door to her garage, and I was just thinking like, oh, these are gonna be like little boxes. They were fucking like lockers. They were heavy as fuck. I had to drag them like from I don't know how many feet, like maybe like 30 feet. So yeah, I was thinking that I was gonna be like sore as fuck today. Uh, praise Jesus that I'm not. I hope it doesn't catch up to me tomorrow or the day after. Um, but yeah, be careful whose texts you open and turn off your read receipts so people don't know when you've read their messages. That's all I gotta say about that. Oh, that's true. I do be sharing my location. It's because I. She said it's because of my Sims. I was gonna say it's because we don't ever know when my like my host self is gonna come back out. Because I had a pretty good run there. Like I was popping up everywhere. My location doesn't work. I think it's because of that time when I was like switching phones a lot. Like I probably confused Apple. But yeah, I think that concludes this week's episode. I'll do my best to put back Benny together. Um, she don't need feet. She can just wear shoes without the foot in there. Um, but yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. This wonderful camera angle and lighting brought to you by our producer Elia Tule. Look her up on Instagram. She's taken though, so you guys can't get in her inbox. Bye.